Four of my Columbia College Chicago colleagues and I sat down with our WPA to discuss the ways in which our experiences at different CIWICs and DMACs have shaped our professional activities and how those experiences might suggest best practices for programmatic change in the first-year writing program at our institution. In a frequency analysis of our extended and recorded conversation, I found several repeated keywords that offer a lens for analysis for what I perceive as some of the most important takeaways from my experience at DMAC 2009. Discomfort and resistance, coupled with the specter of perceived loss of expert status, came up time and time again in the conversation with my colleagues and in interviews I conducted with DMAC participants during the 2009 Institute. For me, one of the key aspects of the DMAC experience is the way in which it is structured to allow participants to overcome fear and resistance to new, less expert for the most part, ways of composing, by essentially pushing them, us, me, to uncomfortable spaces to do the work. Even the most reluctant user of digital technologies might find her or himself inching just a bit toward opening up to digital modalities after an hour or two in conversation with Cindy Self about, quote, widening the bandwidth of literacies, end quote. She makes sense, and importantly, she makes it seem doable. In essence, Cindy is able to justify the need for change and to somehow, reassuringly, reduce the specter of risk associated with that change. The ability to reduce the perceived risk of making a change to digital and multimodal teaching and to engage with the material enactment of that change is essential for the wide-scale digitization of the writing classroom. In what follows, I share 3 videos from DMAC 2009 that get at how doing the work might address the anxieties and fears so often associated with digital composing by writing teachers who are new to it. I thank my fellow DMAC 2009 co-conspirators from what will likely always be known as the Sophie year for their generosity of time, spirit, and intellect, which is so characteristic of the DMAC and CIWIC experience.
I was feeling very nervous, and I was surprised at how anxious I was as the day progressed. Even from the beginning, I was feeling anxious. And I was surprised at how anxious I got as we learned more and more things, because I felt so inadequate. And it was such a good reminder, if I can reflect on it for a second, such a good reminder in the classroom when we give students this entire semester's, worth of work and what they're going to accomplish by the end, and they look at us like we're crazy. That's how I felt. I just felt like I can't do this. I can't. I can't. I know I can't.
Rubber rooms and taking fun pills, filling up on notes and dollar bills. It's the price you pay for feeling okay. You're the strangest girl I've ever met, sending weird signals to my head. I've been thinking about fixing my brain, but I'm afraid I won't feel the same. 'Cause baby, it's all I do. I've been thinking about fixing my brain, but
I have to say I'm feeling a little more like I can. I think the small finger exercises were extremely helpful in ego boosting, helping me navigate through the technology. I know now because of them that I can put together something by Monday that has visual components to it and sound and movement, maybe. So I'm feeling I'm feeling a tentative sense of peace.
It is possible to address some of the anxieties surrounding digital, multimodal, and network composing by continuing to make the unfamiliar more comfortable and by pushing ourselves and others to do the work. With 30-plus years of scholarship in the field of computers and writing, this reflection on the legacy of CIWIC and DMAC points to Jenny Edbauer Rice's call for us to attend to our affective rhetorical ecologies. Ultimately, for me, doing the work of CIWIC and DMAC is not the work of learning the specific ins and outs of a particular platform or tool. Since June 2009, I have never attempted another Sophie book. I do, however, continue to push myself to craft digital multimodal scholarship, and I've integrated digital network aspects of composing, learning all the while myself, into every one of my writing classrooms. The real work of CIWIC and DMAC is participation in a learning environment that, in the words of Jenny Edbauer Rice, quote, engages processes and encounters, end quote, that allows thinking and doing to, quote, bleed into each other, end quote. It must also be a learning environment that encourages risk-taking and the confrontation of fears in a generous, hospitable space, and that asks us all to make room for adaptations or mutations of what we consider our expertise in exciting new ways.